Hello, hello, hello. I'm Andrea Stevens,
And I'm Jeanette Mejias, and we are Web's Women.
where exposure brings strength. Hello, episode 87. 87. We're getting closer. We're getting closer to the 100.
I love how you greet the episode.
I know, because it's a thing.
You're like, hello.
It's alive.
So 87?
It's alive, episode 87. And I'm here with Jeanette.
Yes.
With our partner, episode 87.
Oh my God. Hello, girl. Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you. How's it going? How's it
Oh
hanging?
my God, girl. It's allergy season.
Oh.
And my eyes are they're struggling. I've been sneezing. I've been exhausted. I find that, I never was an allergy sufferer till now. Like the past few years, I've been an allergy sufferer. And I know things are, the pollen's really high and the tree blooming and all that. But it wipes me out. I really cannot tolerate the season. So I'm looking forward to all the rain that's coming our way so they can wash all the garbage out.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm just plugging along, moving along.
Nice. There's a lot of people with allergy issues. I know there's tons of people right now. I had terrible allergies when I was little. And when I was really young, they had to give me a pill because the children's allergy medicine wasn't strong enough for me. So I had to take a pill and I couldn't swallow it. And my mother didn't want to break it up for me. So she bought a cup, and in the cup, there's a little, inside the cup, you would put this pill in this little pocket of the cup so that when you drank the drink, the water would flush the pill out from that little spot it was in the cup, and it would go right down your throat. I was like, this cup does not work. So half the time I'd spit it out in the sink with the pill down the drain, never took the medication. But when I was young, I had to take a pill and I would throw up outside. I would be playing outside with my friends and I would just throw up. My allergies were really bad when I was young. Now they're better now.
Yeah.
They're not good here where I live now, but in Arizona, I was good for about 2 years with no allergies whatsoever. And then all of a sudden they started out there too. But I thought it was a cure-all that I moved out there, but it wasn't. So I think allergies, everybody's got a lot going on right now, but it seems worse. I feel like people are worse, sick with their allergy symptoms.
Yeah. And, my boys are suffering from it. I mean, Jacob has been an allergy sufferer since he was 2. That has not changed for him, unfortunately. But my oldest, Chris, he doesn't typically suffer from allergies at all. And this year, he had to get medication for it. So I find that each season it just gets more challenging.
Yeah. As Jacob as he gets older, that might go away because that's what happened to me. I was really bad when I was young, and
the kid's 15 years old. I mean,
but I was bad. I was bad even in my 20s.
Really?
Late 20s, I was still bad. And then I kind of subsided a little bit. I don't know why. And I'm not big on over-the-counter medication either. I don't take a lot of that stuff. I just suffer.
Yeah. Well,
suffer.
Certainly, we don't want you suffering.
Well,
I wanted to, speaking of seasons, allergy season, I wanted to talk about, about blooming and how important it is to bloom where you're planted. And that kind of spoke to my heart this week, and I wanted you to highlight something in ways. It could be one way, I mean, I know there's various ways. I know I have one on the top of my head, but I think it's important because people, oftentimes see a lot of folks, in their networks or, or outside their networks that are blooming. When I say blooming, they're just, stepping into great things. Things are just, you know, materializing, having life, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, what people don't recognize is that when, you know, folks are in their bloom is because they did some work. There's always work
Right.
behind anything um that you propel yourself to.
Right.
So I thought we can just touch upon that for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
So
I
what
think,
might
you
want to
know what, too, I think and blooming is different. I mean, I think blooming, it depends on your season. It depends on where you live, right? Do you move? And then, there's challenges there, right? And I know, um, there's, and things change, right? So depending on where you live, depending on what season of your life you're in, depending on what comes up, right? That might be something that's hard for you to get through, right? I think I don't know, there's challenges, right? So what do you do? What do you do?
right. So for me, um I embrace the challenge. I think that's like the first thing. We have to embrace the challenge because oftentimes, um, when you're faced with any difficulties or any difficult times, you have to really sit and think about, well, this is only for a season, and not get in this space of, I'm not going to be able to like move forward because I'm in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Just recognizing that time does march on.
Mm-hmm.
And what is now probably will be different later. So what's happening now could very well, right, be different later. And it's important for people to understand that situations change. Like for me, I find that, my situations are constantly evolving and changing. And it's supposed to change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that opportunities are always gonna arise. And I think that for us, we have to think about how these challenges, like current challenges that we're facing, how that makes you, it really does make you better. I know,
Mm-hmm.
like it sounds cliche, but I find that all the challenges that I've been faced with, um, I have become a better person. And I tend to really focus on what's positive versus what's negative. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm able to bloom,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I'm planted,
Mm-hmm.
because I have that lens. I come from that lens. If I didn't have that lens, then absolutely I would not bloom. So I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's important that, when we say bloom where you're planted, even if
Mm-hmm.
you're going through those challenges, just think about it like an actual plant. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta water it. You gotta, um,
Got
you
to talk to
care of it,
it.
talk to it,
You
you
got,
gotta do all kinds of stuff, right? I gotta make sure it's in the right light, it's getting
yeah.
sun, it's getting,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, whatever, miracle grow, nutrients, all those things, right? So
Yeah.
that it could bloom, right? So that's what I say, embrace the challenge. What about you?
Yeah. Um, I think for me, owning your situation, owning what's going on, right? And owning your thoughts, because your thoughts lead you always to what's next or even your outcome, right? So your mindset, I think, I know we talk about that a lot,
Yeah,
but
that's
I
important.
mean, yeah, like, just, I think a lot of it is your mindset, but stop complaining. All right. I think that's a big thing. Just stop frigging
Yeah,
complaining. Right. Cause like that's all you do is create more, I guess, tension. You create, more anxiety, stress. Right. As soon as, if you're thinking negative thoughts or you're complaining constantly, you're not going to get the best result. It's just a given. Right. I mean, and
right,
you can't control the outcome a lot of times, but you can control the direction that you're gonna, that you're gonna go with it. Right. You can control what's going to go on in your mind, how you're going to react, how you're going to respond. And if, I mean, sometimes you got to stop complaining about what goes on and just take action, to move you in the right direction or to take you down the path you need to go. And stay positive for as much as you can, as much of it as you can. I mean, the negative thoughts will linger with a lot of issues, right? It's the what if, right? That what if factor.
Yeah.
And what ifs are usually the negative. You don't really hear, what if I win the lottery? Does that ever happen? No. It's, well, I'm buying a ticket. I'm probably not going to win. I mean, or just, and it can go, and it can be anything that's a challenge, right? It could be just even who you surround yourself with, right? Like just even who you surround yourself. Stop complaining. Don't complain about what's going on if you're the one that's letting it happen. Right. So I think that a lot of the complaining, like, you can complain and complain and complain, but that's never going to change the result. You're going to stay in this zone of complaining, negativity, right? And then you can't manage your own thoughts because you're too busy in this downward spiral of complaining and negative, thoughts, right? So staying positive and thinking, okay, so if this happens, if I do this, or if I react this way, then I'm going to see a better result, or this is what's going to happen if I do this, or I'm going to try it. Let's see if this works.
Right. And you said it best. I mean, our attitudes are what makes things easier. I mean, you can only control what you can control, right? But really, at the end of the day, you got to let the rest of that shit go. Because it just ain't going to help you propel or bloom.
Right. And if you're stuck on something that you've been stuck on for a really long time, right? And it bothers you and you've complained about it, whether it's you've complained about it to yourself in an email, in a text, whatever it is, right? Maybe you vent it to your friends, maybe you vent at work, maybe whatever it is, right? I think if you just consistently stay in that complaining mode, then the same, it's just like doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result. You're just going to keep complaining or more complaining, and it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you do something about it. Pull the trigger, do something about it, make a change the way you think about it. And if you have to take action, take action. But either way, you got to stop complaining and put yourself in the right space so that you can move forward.
Absolutely. 100%. I love that.
And it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy. Sometimes it could take friggin' years for you to figure out, what you're supposed to do about something, a certain situation. It could take a long time. But you also have to be ready for the next step.
Yeah.
And you have to be open to change, and you have to be open to what's next, even if you're scared of whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And really keep that focus, like, what's next for you? Where do you want to go? And like, let that be, what drives you.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I think that those are really good, pearls of wisdom.
Yeah. And you know what? I had my friend tell me he said to me, I sent him a text and I thanked him for some things. And he sent me a text. He's like, listen, just stay on your path. I mean, I give that advice to people every day, but it took something different for me hearing it from him. I took something more away when he said it than when I say it to myself. Right. So that's another thing, your positive thoughts and what goes on in your mind. I can be as positive as I want, and I can say the same exact thing to myself. I can look in the mirror and say it, or other people could say it to me and they could say the same thing. Right. And then all of a sudden he said it to me, and it just, all of a sudden, everything just clicked together, and it meant something different because it came out of his mouth, and I don't know why that is, but I think sometimes, right, that happens. You have to hear it, it's in your head and it, and you're on your path, but for somebody to tell you that, it's kind of, that something that's important to you, it kind of sticks with you. And it comes to you, it comes to you, and it comes into your space a little bit differently than if you're thinking it yourself or if other people might have said it. Right. So it's the way you take things the way you take away certain things too from people. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it does. It does for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that because, it's the season of, so much.
Mhm.
And, and we should all be entering different seasons in our lives, and we should
Mm.
have intentionality to plant, to bloom wherever we're planted and look
Mhm.
at that each season that we, enter. It's either going to be a blooming, either you're going to bloom or you're going to be, or you're going to gloom. And we don't want to be gloomy.
No glooms. We
Gloomy.
want to bloom, not gloom.
That's right. I know I'm being like really corny, but anyhow,
Hey,
no, I thought that was just something that landed in my heart and I wanted to put it out there for our listeners. But
yeah, I
oh,
like it.
Andrea, it's always great to be on the mic with you. I'm looking forward as we are gonna bring and headline a couple of fantastic guests are gonna be lined up for the next few weeks. So I'm
Mhm.
excited about that.
Yes.
Bringing on some large and in charge, dynamic women who are just doing the do, but really have compelling, powerful stories. And some of them actually are, they are also authors of Never Fear Your Fire with Jennifer Capella.
Mhm.
Had on here the last time. So I'm excited to, kind of dive a little bit into listening about their powerful story and
Mhm.
can't wait to hear what they're gonna impart,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit.
Exciting. Exciting.
It is good stuff. All right, Andrea. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. And remember, everybody, you're listening to Webb's Women.
Where exposure brings strength.